And we're live, according to the fucking thing. Um, it's been a few days. I want to get into that before I get into the sponsors. Um, so the first couple days were me writing a thing, trying to mad scramble, and also helping somebody who needs my help. Y'all already know that situation. Um, So that took up a lot of time, and writing this article took up a lot of time because I wanted to be rigorous and well thought out with it. It's an article for a magazine called Polyquads and E-Magazine, and it's my sort of platform piece for a debate I guess I'm having with a conservative on the borders. If you guys want to check that out, feel free to follow me and keep in touch with all that, or you can just go to the Polyquads magazine Twitter page. They have more information on what's specifically happening on there. I'm going to bring up a tweet that they posted, actually. I should have thought of this before I started the stream, which this stream is going to be about, I want to say 45 minutes. Because I've got a lot of stuff I've got to take care of, not the least of which is family. Because I never want to lose touch. I never want to stop talking to family. But this is the piece in the tweet in question about the piece in question, and it sort of comes with another one that I'll discuss after I'm getting done with the sponsors. But let me bring this tweet up here so that y'all can see it. Uh, it's a mini debate, and it's an anarchist and a conservative debate head to head on the topic of, is the Mexican border in a crisis? And I don't know if this is the guy I'm debating on this, but I kind of doubt it since he's the full on editor or whatever. But either way, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna retweet that in the morning. And I'll play this clip a little bit later. But what that clip basically is proving that Trump's border fence, which that's what it is. It's not a fucking wall. Is heavily traversable, and permeable as well. Like, I've seen pictures of people putting fucking seesaws through that thing. But anyway, I'll get into bashing Trump's stupid fucking border fence here in a little bit. I just thought I'd get that particular statement out of the way. All that in combination with trying to get my computer off the ground, and fucking finding out that I forgot to cancel my Wired subscription, which I authentically forgot I even had. Still. So I have to wait a couple weeks for fucking $30 to get sent back to me. Either way, petty frustrations. Um, like, things have been good. I've been busy trying to get a bunch of things off the ground and started up, and also not losing my health or my head. So all of that is a thing. Now to get into the sponsors, this is brought to you by Love Java. Performance butter coffee with MCT oils and CBD. All of this is made possible through sponsors like that, and sponsors like Castle Keep Crafts, who make custom hand-painted stained glass, various plushes, wood-burning wall hangings, I think they pretty much amount to, but I think you can use them for whatever. Like those kinds of things that you would hang decoratively at the entrance of your home or whatever. They do that. They do a bunch of stuff. So feel free to check them out with the link in the description. Also, Necrotopia RPG, an apocalyptic, not post-apocalyptic, but apocalyptic role-playing game, tabletop, where you survive the apocalypse, whatever apocalypse you set up with the system he created, Keenan Dunham created, or with his pre-made campaigns. So feel free to check out either of those. well, any of those. And the biggest sponsors, the ones that are doing the most to keep my content afloat right now, are Liberty Under Attack Publishing, uh, book publishing house, which will publish your libertarian book. They do full service printing, binding. Um, they do narration. They do graphics. They do it all. And they are more than happy to help you if you've got a Liberty book you want published. So feel free to hit them up. They do good work. I've seen their books. They're high quality books. And if you're interested in supporting my work, you can do it by telling them that Jeremiah sent you for 20% off. Also, Liberty Professionals with Finney and Cornelison over in Virginia. If you're in Virginia and you need a private investigation services, feel free to hit Finian up. And if you need private consulting for security anywhere in the country, he will give you online consulting for reasonable rates over a conference call or a phone call, or probably whatever medium's comfortable to you. But all that aside, support my sponsors if you want to support me, because they're going to be my stable income source if I can keep them. But I'll only keep them if you do support them. Amanda got a sale the other day, and it might be partially because of me, like the Castle Keep Crafts woman. But it'll only keep happening if you guys keep supporting it. And if you don't want to, if you just want to support my content directly, I would deeply appreciate any donations. I'm still trying to crowdsource a new computer in case this one's totally toast, which it might be, because there have been more issues that have cropped up. Basically, I have to get the case open, and I also have to get fucking small screwdrivers so that I can access my hard drive. But all that uncomfortable shit aside, here's some more uncomfortable shit. I gotta make one retraction that I said the other day that the U.S. government got an entire generation addicted. Well, I guess not necessarily a retraction, more of an amendment. An entire generation addicted to acid with things like the MK Ultra programs. That is a bit of an exaggeration on my part, and I do want to say that just to get it out of the way. It's a little bit different and a little more targeted with the CIA's like hallucinogen and mind control programs in that time period than the CIA directly putting crack in the middle cities. Inner cities, whatever. Sorry. I'm a little tired today. I don't know if you can tell by the fucking valleys that are forming under my eyes. But I just figured that I'd make that statement. I did get that wrong. And somebody brought that up to me, that I was being like hyperbolic, and I totally accept that. I was in an irritated space thinking about it too much, and I pretty much always will be, because I'm fucking angry that the U.S. government has tried so hard for so long to control people by manipulating their fucking brain. Your brain should be the final fortress against all tyranny. And the fact that they can break in like that, it's chilling, aggravating, angering, and at the very least irritating. It's the kind of stuff that exacerbates my homicidal tendencies. Which, if you watch The Minds of Men, which you fucking should, which the same person who pointed out to me how wrong I was recently picked up a copy from the official site, then you'll find out that my homicidal tendencies and my violent tendencies are the kind of thing that they would have scapegoated entire populations for in an attempt to justify their mind control research. So just keep that in mind, that they want me to be literally nuked. They want to create little lesions in my brain. If they could still get away with it, I'm pretty sure they would have black-bagged me and taken me off to some sort of site in the middle of the city. Hell, they might still do that someday if I find out something a little bit too spicy. But whatever. Fucking... just to get that out of the way. Because at this point I've got fucking 34 minutes left. let me just hit all these subjects pretty rapid fire. One of the subjects is, somebody sent me this at exactly the right fucking time, and I just want to play this for you. This is a video of how terribly easy it is for the wall to be jumped and circumvented. So I'm gonna bring it back to the beginning, and I'm going to pause it here. And I said, yo, this is so timely. I recently destroyed the US-Mexico border in a piece for an upcoming debate issue of polyquads. Someone just sent me this vid by Un Nuevo Dia while I was working on the response to my opponent, and it's so perfect for my rebuttal. And so I posted this video, and I just thought I'd play it for you guys so that you could see this, because it's fucking funny.
Fácil saltar el muro fronterizo que separa a México de Estados Unidos. En estas imágenes, ahí se puede apreciar cómo dos jóvenes con maletas en sus espaldas saltan la valla para ingresar a Estados Unidos en la zona de Nogales, en Sonora. La presencia cercana de vehículos de la patrulla fronteriza parece no hacerles desistir de su objetivo. Solo cuando advierten la presencia de las cámaras es que deciden regresar y saltar de inmediato el muro hacia el otro lado, esta vez para retornar pues a territorio mexicano. Muy interesante.
You fucking seeing this? Just fucking coming up the wall. The wall that's actually a fence. Because it's so permeable that they can reach their hands around and fucking pole climb it. Whew, it's just so funny to watch, because this is what the Trump supporters put so much effort into, and you know they're going to try and re-elect him. You know they're going to try and get him back in, so that he can continue building this fucking fence that they can... It would have been less easy if it was a fucking wall. I don't know, I take great joy in the failures of the state. And this isn't necessarily even a failure of Trump. I think he knows how fucking stupid it is, but he's willing to put up this token gesture so that he can make his jobs and economy numbers look good, all while saying it's because of a wall. A wall that, let me remind you, he diverted defense spending to pay for and is considering doing again and more. So just thought I'd bring that up because there are a few things that make me smile, but the ease with which these people flipped off the state is just perfection. Either way, let's get into some of the more serious stuff after I check the chat. Yeah, right? Okay, so we got Finian in chat saying, hey, leave it to the government to build a wall that is easily climbed by hand. Right? It's so fucking, like, it's comical. It's watching Looney Tunes in real time. It's just, well, why don't we build a wall out of a fence? That'll be all we need. We got a wall by a fence. It's a fence. We don't need anything else. It's good. You know? It's so fucking laughable. But, like, beyond that, you know, the steel industry has got to be fucking loving Trump for all the contributions he's made to their fucking bottom line. I don't know, like, I'm going to get into the impeachment bullshit here shortly, but, you know, it's bullshit. They're not going to succeed in, you know, like, they're going to impeach him, all right. They're not going to succeed in the proceedings to get him removed from the presidency. Impeachment is just the legal process. It's not like once you're started on that fucking shit. Oh, I haven't shared this fucking stream anywhere. Okay. Yeah, I should do that before I keep talking. So... But that's the point. Like, all of this is easy to circumvent. The state knows this. The state knows they're throwing ineffectual solutions out there, and they don't care. They're not here for actual real solutions. They're here to pad their bottom line and to make people feel better about what they're doing. And it's fun because of what I say about many subjects, I get to be the bad guy in unusual ways. Like, I get to be a fascist at the same time as all of this. Giovanni Leaftus Morgan, fucking pedo, is back on Twitter under the account Deligitist, which is a word he made up to describe a bullshit political movement he's failing to start. And this guy, he said, after I've talked about him being back on Twitter and easy to knock off again, that I have a hard time not being fascist. Well, okay. I mean, if opposing this wall makes me fascist, then I guess I'll be fascist. If opposing Trump, the war on drugs, the war on terror, if opposing corporations that ally with the state and the information industrial and intelligence industrial complex, the prison industrial complex, which sends children to prison. There was an 8-year-old who got put in handcuffs for supposedly kicking somebody who was older. It was a 6-year-old. Yeah, now I remember. We live in a time where elementary school kids are being handcuffed and carted off for supposedly throwing tantrums. And opposing this makes me a fascist because some of the people who claim that don't like me and they're not interested in reason and facts. But either way, I thought I'd get that out of the way, and I thought I'd also discuss the Area 51 fail. Now, people posted these pictures. I'm going to post this again. I shared it once. I'm gonna show you guys this image and David Ballantyne's great breakdown of it. He says, I've been seeing these shared unironically and used as evidence that the government is covering up what happened. I figured I'd make a post for people to share where these are actually from. These are usually, but not always, combined with actual photos from the Area 51 event that didn't get the attendance many think it did. Since there are plenty of posts and articles about what actually went down out there, wasn't much of anything, I'll stick to discussing these images. 1. It's a photo from a crusade event by In His Name Ministries. It was taken in 2014 in Nico Mazzi. Simply reverse image search. That's the upper left image there, right there. 2. This is a screenshot from a video game. Arma 3, link in the comments. The sign that says Area 51 is a dead giveaway because that's a colloquially used name, not the name of the facility. There are no signs in or around Groom Lake that say that. Good point. And 3 and 4, these are images from the BRB festival in 2018. Apparently, they broke a world record of people dancing the Nutbush. If you search BRB 2018, the images are from is the first result. Check the comments below for additional info. So, go follow or friend David Ballantyne. He does good work on a normal basis, and he's also funny. And he usually has good takes on things, and this is no exception. I met him back when I did I've met him a really long time ago, but I first really talked to him when I was doing my first interview for one of the partner sites, which I have in my image slideshow. It just popped up, actually. Dank Podstash. Whatever. That thing. Yeah, there we go. Well, not anymore. Whatever. And he was the host back then before a bunch of stuff came up. I hope to see you back, by the way, David. But essentially, I thought I'd cover that because the real event just amounted to a bunch of people standing around acting like they were doing something, and doing nothing in the end. Like, one person rolled under the fence and collected a rock, supposedly, and another rolled under the stopgap, or sorry, the turnbuckle or whatever, with the wooden plank with the stop sign on it, and got reprimanded for it and led away. What we're dealing with is not something interesting or even cool, but the media still covered it. Reuters was there, and they interviewed somebody who took it not seriously at all, who was in a fake NASA cosplay space jumpsuit thing. They were interviewing people seriously for an event that basically didn't happen. So I just thought I'd bring that up because I saw these images being circulated and I actually recognized them at first. But I thought I'd give credit to people who have a good analysis of it, and he was the best analysis that rolled across my Facebook. So there's that. And, you know, I regret that it wasn't a more like official raid. I regret that they didn't do anything. You know, I hate the whole thing, right? But one of the reasons that I hate it is because it's a distraction, which I'll be getting into another distraction relatively soon here. Let me check chat to see if there's anything that came up. That wall didn't get built without tons of morons approving the process as it went through. 2, no one thought to test how easy it would be to climb. Of course not. I just think they don't care. Like, that's my stance. I think nobody really cares. I think it's a lick and a promise, and he broke both of them. It's not a wall, and Mexico's not paying for it. So people have to delude themselves into believing that it's real, that it's not a fake, that it's not a lie, that their beloved Trumpy didn't betray their trust, which is really sad if you think about it. He says, the same crap happens in Life is Futile. People spend their days building ineffective defenses that actually help the attackers more than the defenders. Derp. Yes, yeah. And, you know, that stuff... Sorry. I've been fucking dealing with shit all day, and my throat's a little bit raw. So I'm going to need to keep hydrated and lubricated. But yeah, the people don't like, and honestly, this fixed fortification Patton would scowl at is already people building something that will basically be used against them. In my piece, Destroying the Border argument, I quote Ron Paul as saying it's going to be used to keep us in, because it objectively fucking is going to be used to keep us in. So I thought I'd bring all of that up. And here's my segue into other distractions with everybody, like, so this is a recent thing that came up, and I'm just going to play it for you guys. It's a speech by Greta Thunberg. And in it, she gets very emotional about everything she's discussing. And there are people who say that this is scripted, maybe. I kind of have a tendency to believe that she really is this delusional because she's been groomed by everybody around her. I mean, she says she shouldn't be up here, but let me just play this for you because I like to be objective about things and I don't want to poison the well.
My message is that we'll be watching you. This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you? For more than 30 years, the science has been crystal clear. How dare you continue to look away and come here saying that you're doing enough when the politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight?
Well, it's gonna start pausing, I guess, so you get the idea. Now, I don't agree with her. I don't agree with her handlers or her parents or the media for pushing yet another child in our face as the reason we should fucking support one political position or another. Like, I've spent a significant amount of time in the past month opposing pedophiles and having talks with actual people who think it should be acceptable as a mindset, who don't understand that the brain doesn't even fully develop until 25, on average, and that there should be a significant gap between the average end of puberty and the average age of consent, which is why 18 makes sense, because there's a significant enough time for the prefrontal cortex and other vital neuronal structures to develop, and because it's enough past puberty that they're not being taken advantage of in a heightened hormonal state where they don't actually know what's happening, and that can be redirected by people who might be able to claim they know. And a common thread is among the people on my side, the right side of the debate, is that children aren't rationally capable of understanding consent, so they can't consent. So how can they form entire political ideologies? How can they form entire networks of people gathered around certain ideologies? How can they do all of this if they can't even vote? If they can't consent to sex? If they can't buy booze or cigarettes? Or even in some places, a gun? We're still supposed to listen to her, even though she's too inexperienced to go anywhere without a permission slip? I don't understand the mentality. However, I have seen so many people who've argued, yeah, man, the planet, it's always been warming, and, like, we shouldn't be distracted by this climate change agenda, man. And they say all this, and then the second somebody like Greta comes out, everything they say is about her, with very few exceptions. And I don't know what's worse, watching a bunch of grown adults picking on a child for mental issues, or the fact that these people who are supposedly truthers against distraction are being distracted by things they claim aren't true. So I posted this, and I'll just scroll down. You guys can read the interactions that have already happened. But I don't think I'm remotely wrong in what I posted. And in this particular case, what I posted was this. Let me hit see more on my bullshit. I posted how many people who believe climate change is a distraction paid most of their recent attention to Greta. It cuts many ways. Now, I'm going to scroll because Jace, don't fucking do this. I don't understand who Greta is. You can literally, Greta's a common name, but you can literally Google the name Greta and you'll come up with who people are talking about. So don't fucking do that. I don't consume news or pop media with advertising in order to stay current on the things that matter in our world. That's not a point. Anyway, whatever. Fucking all that aside. Gary Margetson says, so it was the news of the day. Of course people paid attention to it. And I said, it was the news of the day because people paid attention to it. 30 civilians dead in a U.S. drone strike in Afghanistan, for instance. News, but not of the day. And most people have no idea. My point was a different one, though. Plenty of people who normally say man-made climate change is a hoax and a distraction had no problem making that the only thing they talked about. It's a performative contradiction to say we're being distracted and we should really pay attention to X while focusing on Y with everyone else. That's my point. He says, yeah, this is the bullshit. People aren't paying attention to what you think is important, so they're distracted while you are focused. It's garbage. A teenage psychopath calls for world governments to take over all aspects of an economy, and it's lapped up by the media. That sure as hell is worth paying attention to. I said, everything she's saying has already been said by Davos elitists and more, yet most people have no idea who the Davos elite are. She's the, rarely, smiling face on a long-entrenched campaign, and hitting her is hitting leaves, not even branches, and much less the root. But mostly, there are people who have made the point that man-made climate change is a distraction, and the same people are the ones I'm talking about because they're letting it distract them. It's not that, quote, people aren't paying attention to what I think is important. It's that they admit it isn't important and are still distracted by it. This is what I'm pointing out, and I'm not wrong. And I had plenty of people who agreed, but plenty of people who didn't, right? Terry Shearer says, think it's both. Natural actions of Earth's orbit and burning and polluting the shit out of everything. Scientists said 25 years ago there would be another ice age, but you ain't telling me we're not helping. U.S. and China probably most at fault. Hope both countries destroy each other. Cunts. Agreed. And also I should like these. Fucking. Jessica says, bless this fucking post. Thank you. Hey, if y'all want to bless my posts, feel free to donate on Patreon. TMO Beeler says, I believe in pancakes. A little bit high carb for my most days. And Lee Carver Fairley says, if we can save the bank... I'm not exactly sure what he meant to say by that. Winter says, everything in the media is a distraction to some extent, but climate change is real urgent and the world's leaders prefer the profit of a moment to the continued existence of the human race. Yes? David says, not me. Darren says, get a grip. Oh! Thank you! Holy shit, Darren. Thank you for saying, get a grip. Now, I'm cured. I no longer believe the things that I believed when I wrote that post. You have convinced me. I will grip. I am gripping. I have gripped. Wait, I still think what I thought before. Wow. So, I just thought I'd bring those up because the Greta issue is a non-issue, and because people that would normally be against being distracted are totally fine being distracted right now. It's not good, right? And Bad Anarchist, Bad Quaker Ben is back on Twitter under Anarchist Bad. He's somebody, I think I've had some negative interactions with him, but mostly positive. But either way, he sent this around. He says, sure, the left are pigs for using children as tools of propaganda. But remember, the right will do the same thing when the need arises. Remember this puddle of dog vomit? And for those of you who don't know who she is, I'm just going to load this Wikipedia so that y'all can see who she is. The Naira testimony was a false testimony given before the Congressional Human Rights Caucus on October 10th, 1990, by a 15-year-old girl who provided only her first name, Naira. The testimony was widely publicized and was cited numerous times by U.S. Senators and President George H.W. Bush in their rationale to back Kuwait in the Gulf War. In 1992, it was revealed that Naira's last name was al-Sabah, and that she was the daughter of Saud al-Sabah, the Kuwaiti ambassador to the United States. Furthermore, it was revealed that her testimony was organized as part of the Citizens for a Free Kuwait public relations campaign, which was run by the American public relations firm Hill & Knowlton for the Kuwaiti government. Following this, al-Sabah's testimony has come to be regarded as a classic example of modern atrocity propaganda. In her emotional testimony, Naira stated that after the Iraqi invasion of Kuwait, she had witnessed Iraqi soldiers take babies out of incubators in a Kuwaiti hospital, take the incubators, and leave the babies to die. Her story was initially corroborated by Amnesty International, a British NGO which published several independent reports about the killings and testimony from evacuees. Following the liberation of Kuwait, reporters were given access to the country. An ABC report found that the, quote, patients, including premature babies, did die when many of Kuwait's nurses and doctors fled, but Iraqi troops almost certainly had not stolen hospital incubators and left hundreds of Kuwaiti babies to die. Amnesty International reacted by issuing a correction, with Executive Director John Healey subsequently accusing the Bush administration of opportunistic manipulation of the international human rights movement. Very believed. Very, very believed, and used to push a right-wing agenda that led to a very profitable war in the Middle East that helped in the containment of the Middle Eastern terror threat created under Operation Cyclone. So the right will do this too. They do it too. Remember the Covington kids? They basically thought they were going to be the next mouthpieces. And they effectively were the mouthpieces even before all that happened, because they were all decked in hats with, a few exceptions. And they were all Republicans spouting Republican agendas. So the right does it too. Soph, a female YouTuber who's banned off of YouTube for, I think, making extremist or racist comments. I don't remember YouTube's rationale. I don't support censorship like that. I think that people should be free to be incredibly stupid in public. But basically, she's an extremist, and people on the right post her stuff. They don't criticize her. They don't claim her parents are forcing her to act upset. They just post her stuff unironically and move on. And almost nobody's just like, hey, maybe even if we're rightists, we shouldn't listen to Soph because her prefrontal cortex isn't developed and she's not old enough to make most legal decisions. So why are we trusting her particular take on the law? Nobody's saying that on the right because they agree with her, and it doesn't matter what somebody does if you agree with them for the majority of the populace. So I thought I'd bring this up so that people could know that there's a context here. It's a terrible context, and it's just so maddening. So I'm gonna hit this subject quickly, and then move on to my parting shots. But this is all the distraction. You're being distracted from a machine being built around you that can enslave you easily. And this is the smiling face of that machine. You've got like the fucking personal home assistants. You've got AI cameras that are keeping us safe. You've got self-driving cars, self-piloting appliances, self-flying drones. You've got all this shit, right? But the smiling face of all those smiling faces has always been the relatively human personalities behind the AI personal home assistants. And in the latest news, we're supposed to be happy. And why? Well, because all the new features coming to Alexa, including a new voice frustration mode in Samuel L. Jackson. Also new bilingual support and more troubleshooting features like frustration detection. That's so Orwellian. Amazon just announced some big changes coming to Alexa. A new, more natural-sounding voice, support for simultaneous bilingual requests, a new frustration mode, celebrity guest voices, starting with none other than Samuel L. Jackson and more. This is from Chaim Gartenberg at The Verge. The new voice is based on neural text-to-speech software that relies on deep learning techniques to make Alexa sound more like a real human being, the same approach that Apple took with Siri's new voice earlier this year on iOS 13. That neural text-to-speech mode also allows Amazon to mimic real human voices like celebrities, which Amazon will be offering as an alternative Alexa voice this year, starting with Samuel L. Jackson. And thanks to new tech, unlike other celebrity voice integrations on Alexa, the new version isn't relying on pre-recorded phrases. I'm pretty sure they meant to say that and fucking misspelled. Hey, Verge, if you need a fucking editor, hire me. Amazon will offer both explicit and clean versions of Jackson's voice and launch later this year for a special price of 99 cents for anyone who purchases it in 2019, after which it'll cost $4.99. Amazon is also promising that more celebrities will arrive next year too. Also coming is a new frustration detection feature that's designed to detect when you're getting frustrated with Alexa getting your requests wrong, after which it'll try to apologize. Ugh. Let's humanize tech. Let's make it fluffy. Let's have it apologize to you if it doesn't get your shit right. Let's make it as nice and friendly as possible. No, this will never go wrong. Let's give it Samuel L. Jackson's voice, because the same sort of tired female voices might get old to some people. And what would be better than to be said motherfucker when it's helping you fill out grocery lists or some shit? It's deeply frustrating how people are... This is what you're missing with the climate change stuff. You could be focusing on AI superstatism. You could be focusing on the increasing techno state being built around you by people who think they know better and therefore should be able to run society. You know? But oh no, let's just keep it going. And in a way they're keeping it going, I mean, I'm going to see it, because I want to see how well they do with this and the future of our enslavement. But this is Gemini Man. This is a movie with Will Smith and Will Smith. Will Smith plays him and a younger version of him fighting each other for some reason. And the movie actually looks like a very interesting concept. But you know what else it looks like? A big priming session for being okay with deepfakes. And I'm not. I've been very vocal about this. And you want to know fucking why? I'm not going to show the trailer because I don't want to get copyright struck. But let me be very fucking specific. This is scary. This is a video from Control Shift Face, a YouTube channel specializing in hyper-realistic deepfaking. And it's where Bill Hader channels Tom Cruise. read, becomes Tom Cruise temporarily because of deepfakes. Now, I've shown this video to some people. It went semi-viral when I posted it the other week on my Twitter. Because people are very well upset by the prospects of how easy it is to fake somebody doing or saying something. And in this particular case, I had to show this to the same people multiple times before they finally realized. You know, sometimes in accompaniment with the original, before they realized, holy shit. Holy shit. They actually got this to look so realistic and seamless that it takes a double take to realize it's happened. So let me just play you a very short clip of this.
Like, we got to dance together. That was amazing. We had, like, you know, when you do a movie, you do table reads, you know, where, like, all the actors get together.
Or at the beginning of the production.
Beginning, before anything, you get together and you read through the script. And so it's like, you know, all these heavyweights, like, you know, Ben Stiller, Jack Black, Robert Downey Jr., everybody. And then at the end is, like, me. Like, you know, like, hey. Just happy to be here, guys. You know, like, and some other supporting guys, and then Tom Cruise walks in,
my gosh.
And even those guys are like, whoa, and he's super stoked to be there, you know, just like, yeah, oh, boom, you know, like he's like,
Wow.
he's just immediately excited when he walks into a room. And so he comes over and he sits next to me, and I think he had been briefed on some of the supporting guys, but he was like trying to place me, you know? So he sat down next to me, and he's like, I love your work. And I went, oh, thanks, I love your work.
Other people are just amused by this. I'm angry and upset. Other people are just entertained by the prospect of a movie of Will Smith fighting Will Smith. I'm not going to say it's probably not going to be entertaining. But you know how it says 1984 wasn't supposed to be an instruction manual? How about the fucking Running Man, where they can get you to say whatever they want? Voice actor just comes in and says things, manipulates your mouth to be moving a specific way, and as long as their voice is close enough to yours, they can pass it off. And nobody sees it coming. I mean, this is why I'm upset about distractions. Right? And why it's so upsetting to me when people would rather whack at leaves and branches than roots. You know, I mean, over here, we've got an example of somebody being the opposite of this. And I don't want to swing so far that I end up here. I'm going to bring this up. Where this guy's like, city versus country life. Heady versus hardy. Dense versus sparse. Quick versus slow. Cats versus dogs. Joy of more versus joy of less. Atmosphere versus air quality. Make companies versus make kids, outsource versus DIY, economic health versus physical health. What would you add that's fair and accurate, implying that all that's fucking fair or accurate? So I said, yeah, no, I want you to find stats for literally all of these claims, especially since not all cities are LA or New York City. You telling me Houston ain't Southern calm just because it has population? Nah. Seeing rural elitism, or sneering rural elitism. I grew up in the middle of the desert. I know it well. And he's like, wait, you literally want a stat for cities being denser and rural areas being sparser? It's sort of tautological, no? And here's a cite for the growing difference in birth rates. And his cite specifically doesn't prove his point. He said, so I reply this. LMAO, so your source for birth rates as a recent 2% change, the same source that says rural areas have been associated with higher fertility rates and worse birth outcomes than urban and suburban areas? Okay, so cities make more companies than babies. Citations needed. It says there's currently a 14% difference. If my claim is ridiculous, it should be easy for you to find a site showing that in the US today, rural areas have lower fertility rates or higher rates of company formation compared to urban areas. Go for it. And I said, yet this claim is at the end of calculations based on 2017 numbers and largely representative of a downturn in total fertility everywhere. And it says nothing of the claim that cities make companies while countries make kids, which was your false claim. They both make both. He says, I did not realize you were so challenged as to make a statement about statistical differences as an absolute statement. I admit that non-zero babies are born in series in non-zero companies in the country. And I said, ain't about the challenge you smear me with. It's about being inundated my whole childhood by baseless statements like this. A 14% difference, even taken at face value, says nothing of the people in each region. It says everything about reasons for being there. Keep dodging. He hasn't responded. And keep in mind, he only said one thing about one thing. He didn't really reply to all of the others, citing proof that all of the others are true. Fair and accurate, right? As fair and accurate as Fox News, piece of garbage. So, that, I don't want to swing that far that way. I don't want to become a Luddite. But this isn't good. The fact that they can do this convincingly for the time length of an entire fucking movie, it's not good. People shouldn't consider it to be good. Because by this same shaky standard, they could do anything to anyone. They could make it look like anyone is doing anything they want them to. They could take your life and destroy it. I have a video to respond to. It's one of the reasons this is short, because I was spending some of my time today penning my response by a person I normally very well respect named Cody Johnston at Some More News, which you still should subscribe to. He does very good coverage, normally. He has a video out that says cancel culture isn't real, calling anybody who believes it is a snowflake. And I kind of knew it would be a shit show when I came in, because I know it's real. I've had people attempt to cancel me. There's this one woman, who I won't name, who has reportedly spent hours on the phone with people, trying to destroy my reputation to the extent where nobody's going to talk to me anymore. And that guy who fucking... he had this Cash App sign up saying he needed donations. And fucking local newspaper decided, after he turned this into an opportunity to get child donations for like kids with cancer or something, to dig up 2 tweets from his entire tweet history, which they claimed confirmed that he was a terrible person. Now, he came out, he pushed ahead, and he wasn't fully canceled, like Johnston's video claims you have to be for cancel culture to be real. But people tried to cancel him. People tried to claim that because he said these things, there's no way he should get X, Y, and Z, like these are a scarlet letter he must wear for the rest of his life. Those people exist. And just think, you might lose more than a deal with Anheuser-Busch. You might lose more than a fucking lifetime supply of beer. Right? If somebody decides to cancel your entire everything based on a literal lie fabricated by the elites. This is real. This is a problem. And it's happening right before our fucking eyes. I'm going to check the chat and see if there's anything else to discuss. There's going to be a longer stream tomorrow, probably an hour and a half, but I'm extremely angry that people don't seem to fucking get it. Finian says, yep, All walls are pointless if they're not manned 24/7, 365. Yep. Patrick says, agreed, intent is to keep people in. I don't remember who you were looking at when you said horrible actor. Couldn't even memorize a sentence at a time. Using kids for propaganda is very effective. Yes, yeah, it is. Especially when a kid was talking about kids being taken from incubators, left to die. Murga Levermuth says, CJ Pearson is another teen jerking around. He wants to debate with Greta Thunberg. I don't know who you're talking about. Oh, do you mean like... Oh, okay, yeah. I'll have to look into him then, because I don't know anything about him. Either way, I just thought I'd bring all these things up because the situation is more dire than people want it to be. More dire than they're willing to give it the respect and temerity it deserves to not lead to our eventual destruction. So have some temerity, have some boldness. Tell people if they're talking about Greta to shut the fuck up. There are more important things. I didn't, to be honest, even get into Trump's impeachment. He's being impeached for theoretically sounding like he was making a deal with Ukraine to put Biden out of the race. Even though nothing like that ever happened. Even though this is going to be a big dog and pony show. Even though he's good at treading the line of corruption without ever actually doing anything that could get him thrown out of office. He's a very good con man. He's not stupid, and you're wasting fucking time, energy. Everything could be better spent. If people would rather focus on their pet projects, people would rather just push their fucking bullshit. And as a result, we're probably gonna fucking die. You see, that's one of the reasons I don't like Greta being mocked the way she is. I'm angrier than she is. I've been this angry since I was young. Since I was 14. I've had homicidal tendencies. And I was, within the last 10 years diagnosed bipolar. There's very severe problems with taking out your political frustrations on a kid. And while she shouldn't be held up as an icon or a totem to be used for political purposes, that goes both ways. If you don't think she should be used for your enemy's politics, then she shouldn't be used for yours either. Does that make sense? Am I insane? Because the fact that she's a kid, the fact that she's angry, the fact that she's awkward, none of these are evidence against her positions. Now, the fact that she is a kid is evidence that maybe she shouldn't be the front of anything. But that's a separate issue. That's one that you can bring up once and then move on. And then move on to more important things so that you don't look like Republicans. So that you don't look like the party of bullies. Anarchists. So that you don't look like the people who are only anarchists because they're spiteful. We could be better than this as people. As a human fucking race. We could be better than this. We could be better than the evil people who are trying to control everything and who are bringing it down to a level where you can't even trust what's in front of your fucking face. But we can't be better than this while we're crabs in a bucket dragging each other down. So stop doing that. Cancel culture is real. The right is trying to use it against Greta Thunberg. The left is trying to use it against people like Gillis. Fucking... Or this guy who had the audacity to donate to a charity. Just be better people. Stop dragging people down to your level if you know how shit you are. I'll be back tomorrow at around 6 p.m. Eastern Time. This has been Jeremiah talks, insanity is free. Out. Smash the fucking state.